All right, next question is, how do you design a scanner? All right, so first off, sorry, my mic was up. So how do you design a scanner? So first off, I'm going to use Apple for this example, just because it's a big name and it's got a lot of movement. Um, so we don't want to be chasers in this game, right? So we want to know when big moves are about to happen and what's going on. So the biggest thing to know about a scanner is it has to fit your style of trading. So the way I look at it is, let me see if I can find some consolidation to make it easier. All right, so a couple days ago, Apple decided it was ready to start moving again. So you can see here, down here at the bottom, it was 185-ish, and then it hit 191. So a nice $6 move over 2 days. So how would we have caught this move early? So in order to make your scanner, you want to look at the criteria of things that happened before that happened. So I would want to look at my indicators and say, okay, what's happening right in this area before this move starts? And what I see is, this is just a 15-minute chart time frame, just for an example. I typically do this on a daily or a 4-hour or even a weekly chart. So again, I just wanted to find a little bit of consolidation to make a good example here. But basically, you're looking for a consolidation because big moves happen after consolidation. So I look at my indicators. I have a 80 day indicator. I have a 50-day indicator. I actually have 2 sets of Bollinger Bands. They're the inner one. This teal one is a custom set. And then I have obviously my MACD, my ADXR, my MACD, my momentum, and my stochastic slow. So between all these indicators, I want to know what's going to get me as close to this area before this move. And so I can say, okay, this is a 15-minute chart. I was under the 180 day. I was under the 150 day. But I was in between the Bollinger Bands. Those could be potential settings in my scanner to find this setup. And then of course you set it to the 15-minute. Now in my scanner that I have right now, I have volume at least 1 million. I have no price set for the stocks right now, so they could be whatever price. I have options to be at least 1,000 open interest on options. And that's just because I want stocks that are a little more solid than just penny stocks, although some penny stocks will still show up. And in this particular instance, I have the MACD crossing over from negative to positive. And I have, and this is under study, by the way. I know you guys are kind of following along. So that's under study. This study is also moving average. So I don't care how far above the 50-day it is, but one of the big requirements for going long is that it's above the 50-day. So I actually have the MACD crossover on the weekly. Remember, I said you want to scale up to confirm. So if I have the confirmation on the weekly, and then I have the 50-day confirmation on the daily, then anything that I find that meets this criteria, if I go down to the 4-hour or the hourly, then I should be comfortable trading when I see that move happen. For some reason, TD Ameritrade sometimes takes a long time to find these scans here. I don't do pre-market scans too much because unless you're looking for breakouts in the pre-market for a day trade, there's really no point. you're just going to get yourself hyped up, and that's not your style of trading. If you're a swing trader, it's not your style of trading. And that's when a lot of people will lose a lot of money because, you know, maybe their swing trades are taking a little bit longer than they would like to see before the move happens. And so they get anxious, and then they sell the swing trade, try and jump into a day trade because they see something pop, but they're not confident in what happens in a day trade. So then they end up losing. Stick with what you know. If you're a swing trader, stick with swing trading. There's nothing wrong with day trading. You just, you know, unless you're in practice on knowing it in and outs and being confident and pulling the trigger, then you know, that's when you get stuck. And you don't want to be stuck on a day trade loss, because unless you scale out to see what it's actually doing on the daily before you made that purchase, I mean, it might just be a pop from like a major fall, and now it's just going to continue to fall again, which is why scale matters. And I'm not sure why this isn't loading. I'd love to show you something. Let me see if I can pull up one of my other ones. I just pulled up the same one just to see. All right, let me see. All right, we'll go to this one. This one is kind of what I was just describing. Except the volume only have set at 250. Stock, I have a minimum 25 cents, but no top. Study moving average scan. So it has to be closed above or below, like I was describing on the 15-minute, below the 50-day on the 4-hour time frame, above the 9-day period on the 4-hour time frame. And then again, we want it above the in this instance, I use 180-day on the daily. So let's just pull something up, see what happens, and that way I can describe what we're looking at. Cron has been a major one since the Canadian marijuana stocks. All right, so in this instance, because I was using 4 hours, my main criteria, I want to go to my 4-hour scale. And as you can see, we have entered a consolidation channel, which is where we want to be before breakouts happen. Now, to determine which way this breakout's going to go, I want to confirm on my daily chart. On the daily chart, we have below 0 on momentum. We haven't yet crossed over on the MACD, and we're still kind of bouncing around here in the lower 15, 16 range on the ADX. So that to me is still a consolidation channel. There's no move here. There's no point in buying because it's going to move between basically the Bollinger Bands when it's consolidating. 749 to 632. Obviously, it's kind of on the way up right now, but with stochastic coming down, this isn't anything to me. So I'd go back to the 4-hour and look for this confirmation here, though. So what we're looking at here is that there's an up arrow down here at the bottom because I have the indicators on so I can see the arrows when they cross over. So I have an up arrow here. Then I confirm on the MACD with an up arrow. Then I confirm the momentum is above 0. And then last is ADX. I want it to be increasing. See how this is decreasing? I really ideally want it to be increasing, which you see it's starting to do now. But we're consolidating. So this is down, and so we're just not quite there yet. But this would be something that, you know, over a couple of days you could watch, let the consolidation take place, and then it most likely is going to be in another place to actually go back in an upward moving position. Let's go back to the scanner. It always goes back like that. I'm not sure why TD does that. It doesn't stay there. Might be too much memory for it. All right, so let's pull something else up. Just randomly, we'll pick. And that's just it, is you're going to get a big list of stuff. So just whatever, you know, you just kind of got to pick through them. Obviously, you'll find your favorite ones, and those will be the ones that stick with you. All right, so here we are on the 4-hour. We have an up arrow at the stochastic. We are above zero on momentum. We're crossed over on MACD, and we're just kind of bouncing around in the ADX. The ADX is not confirmed with this upward momentum yet. However, this could still be a purchase as long as the daily trend confirms it. And really all I would be waiting for is for this kind of to retest. It's kind of bouncing around right here. So that just tells me that there is a little bit more consolidation. But remember, as we get trapped in between these resistance and supports, then we consolidate and we're ready to make a move. So let's see what the daily chart says. The daily chart is moving up. I can see it here, but then I want to confirm it everywhere. So we're not quite there. The stochastic did break up. The momentum is still below zero. The MACD has not crossed over yet, and the ADX is still really low. So that tells me that we're probably going to get rejected right here at the 50. You see the red line here? That's the 50. We're probably going to get rejected right there. We're going to have to consolidate a little bit more and then get ready. So what you're starting to see here is that your scanner's giving you options for things to look for. But it's not, it's up to you to go in and do the legwork and really test it against your indicators to see if it's ready yet. And even with a nice scanner that's set up, you know, for what you like to see, you know, you out of this 150, I might scan, you know, the lower bit, maybe in this range here, and I might get 1 out of 20 that actually meet the criteria. Let me see if I can get the one that I like, though. All right, here we are. So we're back to the original one. Negative to positive with the weekly, and we have the close above the 50 on the daily. So this means that my overall trend on the weekly and daily are both confirmed up. And now I want to find a confirmation in my trade in the hourly or the 4 hourly, somewhere in that time frame. So here's Groupon. So we'll pull Groupon just to see what they're up to. So you can see there's been kind of this consolidation channel right in here. We're still on the daily, so remember we're confirmed up on the daily. So let's look at the bottom. Up on the momentum, up above on the MACD, and we're reaching that point. We're at 20 on the ADXR, and you can see it's still moving upward. This is all a great sign, but it's going to get rejected at the top Bollinger, and that's simply because this ADX, I'm sorry, the stochastic slow most likely has to come down. It's in the overbought. So this tells me that within the next few days, we're probably going to find a 452 support since we're right there. We'll consolidate a little bit more, and then we'll be ready for a breakout. Let's see what the weekly looks like since that's what I confirm on. So see this, where basically we had this big move up, and now we've been bouncing around, which is consolidation. The Bollinger's getting tighter, and we're really waiting for the MACD crossover here on the weekly. Remember that anytime you have like your 50-day or 180, like that's going to act as resistance as well. So even though we're going up, I'd probably guess that we're going to get rejected somewhere in that 530 mark. And because we're not ready for the breakout because the ADX isn't confirmed. But that's a weekly chart. It's in a good moving position, so I still like what I see on the weekly. And then remember, I'm trading based on now that the daily is where it's at. I can trade on the lower ends, the hourly or the 4 hour. And this is what I mean by confirm. So I wouldn't enter this trade just yet because it's doing what I said, which is consolidation. It's in the Bollinger Bands. It's under the MACD right now. Momentum just is barely sitting above the 0 mark. The ADX is perfectly fine. We like that. But remember, if it starts to curl up, you're going to get a bigger drop down. And then basically we're just waiting for this to bounce. So in the hourly, you have nice long consolidation usually through the after hours, and then you know, in the next day or so, we would be looking for this to start its way to curl back up, and then that would be our next breakout move. And then just based on this, you have a 517 resistance. So, you know, that would be my first. After it dips down and starts curling back over and you get your confirmation, you might get a confirmation a little bit lower, maybe 470, 460, somewhere in there. And then once you get your confirmation of it's heading back up in the right direction, use 517 as my first resistance level. But again, back to screeners. In order to find, you see how this had this major breakout? I want to go right here into this consolidation channel and say, where is it in my indicators? And that's what I'm going to build my scanner off of. So again, below 180, above 50, right? Below 180 and above 50, and we're on the hourly chart. So make sure you flip those over here. You flip them to whatever scale you want it to be on that you're looking for that confirmation. But please, at the very least, make sure you throw in that above the 50-day on the daily, because you want to make sure that you're trending up overall. I hope this helps. Again, ask any questions, leave any comments, and you know, keep trading, keep studying.